Hey guys, it's Miki ASMR here, and today I'm going to be reading a Suna Rintarou ex-listener. This one is titled Miss It When It's Done, and this is part 4 in the Miss It When It's Done series. I'm updating this the day after I posted part 3 because I left you guys with a cliffhanger last time, and I'm not that evil. I do want to, have you guys hear the rest, so here it is today. And without further ado, let's get right on into the video. Chapter 10. Suna was waiting outside the twins' room when somebody bumped into him. He rolled his eyes, and when he saw just who bumped into him, he thought he was dreaming. His eyes widened in surprise. "It was you." "YN?" he said, surprised. He felt like he wanted to cry. He felt like he wanted to be mad at you, but he knew he couldn't do that. All the anger he had for you was suddenly gone just at seeing you. All of his worries about you were gone. There you were, the love of his life, standing in front of him. You two just bumped into each other, and it gave him massive nostalgia. A smile made its way onto his face. "You're here," he said as a tear fell down. He wanted to hug you so bad and tell you just how much he missed you. He waited patiently for you, and you would wait an entire eternity for him. He would always wake up with the hope of seeing you again, and there you were. It was like a God-granted wish to see you again. "Suna Rintarou, call me Rintarou. You never lost a privilege to." He smiled. Your tears were already running down. There he was, the love of your life. The boy you wanted to go to every day but couldn't. You wanted to hug him and tell him how sorry you were, and just tell him how you felt about him. Seeing him standing right in front of you made you realize just how much you missed him. "Rin," he said, cracking a small smile. He didn't waste a second and hugged you tightly. "I missed you so much," he said, taking in your scent. If only you knew just how much he missed you. "Hey, Suna, YN," yelled Atsumu. You let go of Suna, which made him pout because of it, and Atsumu engulfed you in a huge hug. "You dumbass, you left without telling us. High school was so much worse without you," he cried. You laughed while your tears didn't stop, and they weren't going to stop any second. "Oi, pisshair, don't scream outside." "YN," said Osamu, as he was surprised. They really are twins, you thought as you giggled. "YN, where have you been?" he said, pushing Atsumu off of you and hugging you. "I've been in Tokyo," you said, after hugging the three of them. "Why?" asked Suna. "My dad got a job, and I couldn't say goodbye without telling anybody. My dad got a job, and I couldn't say goodbye, so I left without telling anyone, and that was the worst decision I've ever made." You laughed. Suna hugged you, afraid that you'd leave again. "Don't leave," Suna whispered in your ears, and you blushed. Even after all these years, this boy is still making you flustered. You thought, and it was like Osamu read your mind and smirked at you. "Which room are you in?" asked Suna. "I said here in 427. "Hey, that room's just outside of ours." "Wait, you're Suna's roommate," exclaimed Atsumu. Your jaw was now open wide. At least now I don't have to worry about my roommate," smiled Suna. "Having YN and Suna as their neighbors would be hella fun," said Osamu. You were looking forward to living with Suna, and so was he. Oh, please. Okay. Chapter 11. YN. Psst. "Hey. Oi, wake up. YN." You kept hearing stuff, or more like someone talking or talk whispering. You were sleeping and weren't planning on waking up any earlier than you had to, so you turned to the other side, giving whoever was standing there your back. "YN, you'll be late for class," Suna said. You groaned and kicked your legs like a little kid. Suna chuckled at your behavior and took the covers off. The cold air hit your legs and it made you jolt up. "Suna!" you yelled angrily while rubbing your eyes. "What?" he asked. "Why are you waking me up? Didn't you take the hint? Let me sleep." "Dumbass, you have classes," he sighed while messing with your hair. You pouted the whole morning as Suna kept laughing at you. There was a knock on the door, and it was the twins. What's with her? Asked Osamu as he was while carrying yours and Suna's bento box, which was full of food made for the two of you. She didn't want to wake up, Suna said while taking his bento box and putting it in his bag. Here, Osamu said, putting your box in your bag. Thanks, Sumu. You mumbled lazily. Well, let's go, said Atsumu excitedly. You four were walking, and Korumi sang along. Sakusa came up to you, but the four of you were walking, and Komori and Sakusa came up to you, but of course Sakusa was keeping his distance, especially from Atsumu. Hey, YN, said Komori, hugging you. Hey, Mota, he said with the same enthusiasm and hugging him back. Hey, Kiyumi, he said, waving your hand at him, and he just nodded his head. Well, we're off to class. See you at lunch, said Komori. You nodded your head and waved at them, leaving off to class. He didn't have class with Suna or the twins, so he just left. So, said Atsumu. So, said Suna. When are you asking her out? Said Osamu. She just came yesterday, and remember, she left on bad terms with me. Sighed Suna Suna sighed at the two dumb twins. Well, we're just saying, you need to talk, you know, said Atsumu, adjusting his bag. I know that, said Suna, leaving the twins behind and going to his class. After classes were over, you went to your room and saw Suna on his bed. Hey, Rin, he said, taking off your shoes. YN, don't you think we need to talk? Said Suna. You knew he was going to ask you this eventually, and you were ready for it. Yeah, you're right, he said softly. He went to sit beside Suna as he sat up and crossed his legs. He realized that he was shirtless, and now you were blushing insanely. Of course, I'm living with a boy, so this is normal, he thought, trying to calm your heart down from beating faster than Sonic. How's Kaito? You asked him. She broke up with me the day you left, he said. Oh, I'm sorry, you said, but he just waved his hand, saying it was nothing. Why didn't you tell me? The day you bumped into me at the hallway. I couldn't. Me and you weren't really on speaking terms, he mumbled. I'm sorry for, not talking to you, he said, feeling guilty. It's okay, you had a girlfriend, so I expected it. You smiled, but he knew you didn't mean it. But it doesn't matter if I had a girlfriend. I knew you before her. But Rin, no, listen to me. I should have never done that. Ghosting you and not talking to you for days, not sitting with you at lunch like we always did, or hanging out after school, he said. But she's your girlfriend. Of course you'd love her more and give her more of your attention than me. But I love you more than her or anyone. You deserve my attention more than she ever did, he said. He didn't know where he had gotten the courage to talk like that, but he did. Your eyes widened and your face became insanely red. Or hot if you're, not white, because they really need to add more inclusivity in here, but... Rin, what do you mean? You asked, not looking at him. Can't you see that I love you? I've loved you ever since our first year, and still to this day, he confessed while cupping your cheeks, and so you'd look at him. Rin, you say as a tear fell down, and Suna wiped it away. It's okay if you don't feel the same way. He sadly smiled at you. No, Rin, remember the night I stayed at your place? The night we cuddled? I had many feelings, and some of them I didn't understand until later, when I found out what they meant. I fell for you, and I was going to confess to you, but then Kaito asked you out, and you agreed. My heart just broke seeing you with somebody who wasn't me. I distanced myself from you when you did. Every time I saw you with her, I wanted to break down any second. Rintarou, I've always loved you, and I always will, you said as you cried. YN, I said that weird. YN, he said softly as he hugged you. Soon it felt as if he was on cloud 9. Be mine, only mine, he said. Okay, Rin, you smiled softly. The two of you cuddled that day and fell asleep, forgetting that the twins were waiting on you to hang out, and Atsumu felt betrayed. Chapter 12. Sumu, you yelled for the 10th time today, freaking out. Will you stop freaking out? Yelled Atsumu, back panicking. You're not the one who's getting married. Why are you freaking out? You're making me freak out. Atsumu, YN. Okay, both of you, stop it. Kida said, coming from your room, where the two of you were getting ready. YN, I must say, you look really beautiful. Kida smiled. Atsumu, you got your speech finished today. Oh wait, I said that in the wrong place. Atsumu, you got your speech ready, right? Asked Kida. Yes, but what if I mess it up? Atsumu said, still panicking. You don't need to worry about it, okay? Kida said calmly. Okay, Atsumu, you need to get out there, and I'll call Author-chan in. He said. Atsumu's girlfriend, me, is your best friend, and I'm the one who's been helping you get ready for your big day. After 2 hours later, there you were, looking insanely beautiful as the author wipes her tears away. YN, my beautiful YN, grew up, I said, clapping my hands together. You look at yourself in the mirror, smiling. I'll become soon I'll be Suna YN, you thought happily. Let's go, shall we? She said. Once you got out of your room, your father was waiting outside, already walking you down the aisle. Are you ready, my dear? Smiled your father warmly, which caused a few tears to fall down. Don't you dare ruin your makeup, I said, and warned you as you just laughed at me. I took your father's hand, you took your father's hand and walked as the doors opened. There he was, the love of your life, waiting for you. Once Suna saw you, tears began to spill out of his eyes as he chuckled to himself. Look at you, laughed Osamu from behind him. Shut up, said Suna. Atsumu was already crying his eyes out, and Osamu couldn't believe his twin brother, as he just sighed. I was beside him trying to calm him down, but secretly, I wanted to laugh at my boyfriend. This is like the author, for some reason, talking, I don't know why, but... Stop crying this much, will you? I said, holding my laugh in. My best friend is getting married to my other best friend. What did you expect me to do? Not cry? Are you crazy? He said, sniffling. I just laughed at his silly behavior, and looked at you walking down the aisle to your soon-to-be husband. Your father brought your hand and put it into Suna's. Take care of her, will you? Smiled your father, as he went to sit down beside your mother, who was crying twice as much as Atsumu was. My daughter grew up too fast, said your mother, holding a packet of tissues in her hand as your father brought 10 of them, knowing she'd finish them all in one day. She sure did. There's no vowels, you don't get to see them, so the author didn't write me. Oh wait, never mind, the vowels are here. Oop. YN, started Suna. I'm such a lucky person. Having you here, on this day, making you mine, is a dream come true. After everything we've been through, after years of being apart from you, you still choose to love me, and I'm so glad you did. I'm glad I've met you. I'm glad that you're the person who I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. We've been through our ups and downs, but we're still here, together. I'm happy that you talked to me on your first day of high school, or on that first year of high school that day, telling me to wake up or the teacher would give me detention. He laughed. I'm glad that we were classmates. Being your friend, boyfriend, and now husband would always be the best decision I've ever made in my entire life. You're the reason behind my smile. The happiness I can't thank you enough for. I'm happy that you said yes and being my partner forever. I promise you, I'll love you more than anything I ever have. To give you everything you want. And to be with you through thick and thin, because you've always been there for me. I love you, YN, more than you can even think of. He said as tears were beginning to fall down his eyes, and you as well. Rintarou, he started. I'm glad that, even being apart, we got to meet again. I know that you're my soulmate and the person I want to spend the rest of my life with, and no one else. I'm glad that you loved me I'm glad that I loved you even if it hurt me. I'm glad that you love me back. I believe that everything that has happened to us was for a reason. It was like a wake-up call for us. telling us to stop messing around and just be together already. But it also made me realize a lot of things along the way. It made me realize why I fell for you. Being away from you for years made me realize just how much I really did love you. I think that if I didn't move away, you would be going out with someone else. We wouldn't be here. Life has its way of bringing people together, and I'm glad that it brought me to you. I promise to you, I love you with everything I have, to be there for you every time. Rintarou, I'm glad that you have a place in my heart. He smiled, trying not to ruin your makeup with your tears. You may now kiss the bride. Suna didn't waste any seconds before connecting your lips to his. Everyone cheered. In the back was Osamu or Atsumu and your mother, crying even harder. It was the best day of your life, getting married to the person you love, and becoming Suna YN. Chapter 13. And that's how you and our and that's how your father and I met. You said for God knows how many times. Mommy, I want to fall in love like you and Daddy did, said your 4-year-old daughter. Me too, said her twin brother, Izumi and Ichika. You laughed at the two of them. It's time to go to bed now, you two, he said, smiling while kissing their foreheads. Good night, Mommy, we love you, they said as you closed the door behind them softly. You went to your room and saw your husband sitting there on the bed. Hey, he said, smiling. Hey, he said, giggling. Let me guess, they asked you again about how we met and got married, he said, raising his eyebrows. You sighed and laughed, knowing that this was their favorite bedtime story. Yup, you said, sitting on the bed beside him. He wrapped his hands around you and kissed your forehead. They must have taste in stories, he said, and you playfully hit him as he chuckled at you. You two cuddled before you fell asleep. Izumi and Ichika both woke up at 3 a.m, grinning at each other. Let's go bake a cake, said Izumi, getting out of his bed and taking his sister's arm, leading her to the kitchen. We need first. You and Suna woke up to the sound of a plate falling on the ground. You two had quickly went downstairs and saw a big mess in the kitchen. Like, a big mess. Flour splashed everywhere, cracked eggs on the floor. 2 twins covered in flour from head to toe. You two, what happened? He said, surprised. Mommy! They cried immediately. Suna laughed at them and carried each one of them in his arms. You two are making Mommy mad, he said, smiling. We're sorry. Why? He said, putting your head in your hands since you had gotten a headache just by looking at the mess in the kitchen. We wanted to bake you, Daddy, and Uncle Samu a cake since he told us how. Ichika, what? Sorry, I messed that whole line up. We wanted to make you and Daddy a cake since Uncle Samu told us how to do it, Ichika said. Uncle Samu said that if you want you and Mommy to love you, or if we want me and Mommy to love us, that we have to bake a cake for you, said Izumi. Of course, Izumi is behind this, he sighed. We love you too. Who told you that we didn't? Said Suna, trying not to laugh, so you wouldn't be even more mad. Haru, they both said at the same time. What did Haru say? You asked. Haru said that Uncle Samu told him that you two don't love us anymore, and Haru told us not to tell us. It was a prank, and we didn't know what a prank was, said Ichika. I'm going to kill him. Once I see him, I'm not going to spare him, you said as Suna laughed. I'll get the bath ready for the two, said Suna, taking them upstairs. That is the ending. There is actually an epilogue. If you guys are interested, there's 2 of them, so I'll be reading that in the final part of the series. I hope you guys enjoyed. This was really cute. It did kind of like escalate very fast, but I hope you guys didn't mind that anyways. I thought it was cute as shit. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, make sure to subscribe and have the notification bell so you get notified every single time I post a video. As I said before, make sure you like the video because that'll show me that you guys want the epilogue, part 6, I think. Is this part 6? I don't remember. I think it's part 5, actually. That's embarrassing. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, make sure to subscribe and have the notification bell so you get notified every single time I post a video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye!